Food prices shot up by more than 200%, fueled by spiking oil and fertilizer prices, and aggravated by export bans, climate change, and the conversion of food to fuel crops. More than 6 billion people who graduated from the ranks of poverty were pushed back down to the ranks of the severely poor. Fortunately, commodity and input prices, which skyrocketed last year, came hurtling down early this year. In the second half of the year, we witnessed a global financial meltdown of such scale and proportion not seen in modern history. An unprecedented 2/3 of the world went into a recession. Today, despite the fact that the world economy remains sick, there is a consensus that the patient is recovering, albeit slowly but surely. In the last few months, indicating that an economic rebound was underway, commodity prices have begun to stir and slowly inch upwards. Even as the market has generally remained stable, we recognize that prices are still higher relative to the pre-2008 levels, and there is a need to increase output and productivity to ensure affordability of food staples for our population. More importantly, we take cognizance of the series of natural catastrophes which continue to wreak havoc on major agricultural lands in the region. Floods in South India inundated millions of hectares of croplands, including sugarcane plantations, ushering in a supply deficit of sugar in the world market. Drought-affected regions in India led to a reduction of rice output by 10 to 15 million tons, and in other agricultural commodities as well. Plant hopper infestations in Malaysia, Vietnam, China, Thailand, Cambodia, Laos, and South Korea also threatened increased production of rice supply in the region. For the devastating effects of tropical cyclones, we need not look far. We Filipinos regularly confront the tragedy of and celebrate our triumphs over natural calamities. Typhoon Ondoy brought us face to face with death and disaster in an urban setting, while Typhoon Pepeng made landfall in the Philippines an unprecedented 3 times, bringing destruction to close to 500,000 hectares of prime rice lands during the harvest season, raising losses to an initial 18.5 billion pesos, destroying agriculture production infrastructure to the tune of at least 3 billion pesos, and leaving more than 50,000 farmer families in a state of financial ruin, hunger, and severe poverty, even as the government maintains a hawkish watch on the supply and prices of basic food commodities. As we confront today's unpredictable and harsh weather, the Deutsche Bank further warns that current agricultural production may not be enough to meet the growing world food and fuel demand in the next 40 years, which in terms of food volume, the United Nations FAO has estimated must approximate close to double that of which we are producing today to meet global population demands by then. For this reason, the Department of Agriculture cites climate change as the first of 2 critical challenges that it must face with its stakeholders as it seeks to accomplish its primary mandate of increasing agricultural output in the Philippines. We are reaping what we have sown in terms of a century of abuse and neglect of the world and our environment. To successfully face this challenge of dry spells and severe storms, the department has aligned valuable amounts of its resources towards capacitating itself with the equipment and trained personnel to design and implement programs with the aid of satellite-based remote sensing and geographic information systems, strengthened statistics and forecasting capabilities, developing and distributing climate-ready seeds, seeds which are submergence, drought, and disease-tolerant, engineering climate change-adapted infrastructure, even if it is more expensive for production and processing, enabling more financing for agriculture through innovative weather-based insurance schemes, crop insurance schemes, and disseminating more information, knowledge, and training in crop science and planting techniques to increase the knowledge of our farmers as they adapt to this climate change world. The second of these two critical challenges to agriculture is in the area of global trade. As more economies open their doors to a liberalized international trading system in 2010 and the near future, we will brace and equip our stakeholders with the necessary tools in order to survive and flourish in this new, open, and brutal global trading order. Beyond mere production, we are capacitating farmers to value add and process commodities by distributing thousands of flatbed dryers, corn drying centrals, fish ports, and storage warehouses as we open markets up for them domestically and internationally. Our regulatory agencies are also being capacitated by competent staff supported with the correct equipment and tools to ensure that we stay FMD and bird flu free and we can continue our disease eradication efforts with the private sector. To meet these challenges and set the stage for more private sector investments, allow me to present to you our spending priorities for 2010. Of the 47 billion peso budget, we will be allocating the biggest chunk, at least 86%, to the support services I have previously mentioned. Consistent with our goal of attaining rice self-sufficiency by 2013, we will be allocating 30% of the total banner program's budget to the rice program. Fisheries, particularly aquaculture development, is programmed to absorb another 32% of the budget for programs with a hefty 1 billion peso program for aquaculture in 2010. In terms of fiscal soundness, the department takes pride as one of the government agencies with the highest and most improved absorptive capacity. To date, we have utilized at least 83% of our 2009 budget, and with the rehabilitation of our farmlands underway, we will be focused to absorb and utilize more of these funds at a faster rate. The private sector will remain to be our valuable contributor and the primary driver of growth. The faint of heart may withdraw from investing today, but the visionaries are actually evaluating and assessing growth possibilities in the Philippines as the global economy slowly rebounds. The Philippines is now emerging as a preferred biofuels production hub in Asia, what with a mandated 600 million liter E10 requirement of ethanol by 2015 and a commensurate volume for biodiesel. Mariculture parks are also a green pasture awaiting private sector capital infusion. The Philippines has the second longest coastline in the world and with hundreds of protected coves. The department has established more than 20 mariculture, aquaculture sites across the country, which are self-contained production zones with their own hatcheries, technical support, secure areas, feeds production and storage facilities, and marketing assistance to locators. Many are already positioning for investments in the Philippines, like the Far East Agriculture Corporation, which is a consortium of at least 10 agribusiness companies from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia who will be on their second trip to the Philippines next month for site selection in areas of rice, corn, poultry, and livestock production. The Brunei Investment Authority, led by the Minister of Primary Industries of Brunei, has visited Mindanao extensively in the last few months with us, and they are preparing an investment proposal for Mindanao as well. CP Thailand, or Charon Pokpan, Thailand's preeminent food conglomerate, has announced last month that they are investing $40 million initially in select areas in Luzon for integrated feeds and prawn hatcheries and grow-out farms. Beida Huang, which farms close to 1 million hectares of wheat in northern China and is the biggest seeds manufacturer in China, has just signed an agreement with private sector partners to invest in seeds production here last month. The agriculture sector is all set for the economic rebound, with 37% of agriculture and fishery companies planning expansion for early 2010. And I doubt that these recent twin natural calamities can stop the growth of the sector. A recovering global economy and a strong 91 million population as a domestic consumption base are just too compelling as realities to ignore. If at all, the twin recent calamities will help the government and the private sector plan better for this expansion. In the last decade, agriculture has grown at rates almost double of the previous decade. There will be corrections. There will be adjustments along the way given the challenges that we face. But the agriculture sector, given the demands on food and biofuels, has made a strong comeback in the last 5 years. This is not a prognosis, but a fact recognized by you, a fact recognized the world over. The Department of Agriculture is setting the stage for this expansion, and we invite you to get in the wagon. Thank you very much.